we see this current operation of the global supply chain is a way for the multinationals to make big profit out of avoiding their responsibilities. We see multinationals outsourcing their productions. They chase price to the bottom, and they move from one place to another. They're looking for the worst protection, the worst wage areas, so that they can make more money for the products that they buy at a very, very cheap price from the supply chain. We are, I think, through and through a labor right. The core value of CCC is labor right. And so we focus on labor right issues in the supply chain. Labor right meaning the core labor rights, not just wages and working hours, but also freedom of association, union busting, and all these kind of labor rights. The Java window workers are 4,000 workers from a Indonesian corporation. That the corporation operates 2 factories, and the major buyers of the corporation is Uniqlo, S. Oliver, Jack Wolfskin, Jerry Weber, several international brands, and the factory went bankrupt in early 2015. So workers were left with a few months, 3 months of unpaid wages and their severance payment, their compensation. And before the bankruptcy of the factory, Uniqlo, as one major buyer of the factory, had cut its orders, all its orders, by the end of 2014, which is a direct reason why the factory could not get back on its feet. And because Uniqlo, as a major buyer, although the company denies that they have any responsibility to the workers, and also it did not inform workers and the union about their cutting orders. That's why now in Japan we're trying to carry on pressurizing Uniqlo, especially Mr. Yanai, into a real dialogue with the workers. Actually, in terms of factory closure, there has been more and more cases of better practices that the companies, the buyers, multinationals, are taking up social responsibilities on factory closures. For example, one of the cases I was referring to, the PT Kisong case in 2011 in Indonesia. The factory went bankrupt, owing workers $3.3 million, 2,800 workers unemployed, and after about 2.5 years of negotiations and ongoing dialogues and so on, the major buyers of the company, of the factory, actually paid a certain amount to assist workers to get their full payment, which is one of the better practices of companies. So it's not unheard of that multinationals would take up responsibility in case of factory closures. The accord, we're talking about the Bangladesh Fire and Safety Agreement, which is now already signed by more than 200 apparel brands, retailers, and wholesalers. Bangladesh Accord, it was after the 2013 Rana Plaza incident, which killed a lot of people and injured a lot of people, that the accord was a overall remedy towards the incident. First of all, get informed. You really need to know about not just the difficulties that workers faced, but also the entire system, how the system of multinationals, global supply chain works, and how these differences, how this level of different labor protections in different countries, how this whole global system supports the benefits or the profits multinationals make. And I would say it's really a decision on a value system, that if you decide that you will side with the multinationals or you will side with the people who are exploited by the multinationals and try to regulate multinationals.